I want to ask the question, does the INFJ's ability or the empathic abilities of the INFJ, is it a ESP, an extrasensory perception? I want to ask this question and just come up with some of questions and maybe something that we could discuss together. Maybe you could leave some comments and maybe I'm just going to throw a few things out there and see if it makes any sense. For one thing, ESP is extrasensory perception, as we know, and that was a study that was done several years ago, maybe 50 years ago. I seem to remember as a kid in the 60s, the 70s, into the 80s. They did a lot of studies into the human mind and tried to figure out, does the human mind have this ability in order to almost alter certain things, like maybe transmit, their thoughts into somebody else's thoughts? Can they manipulate somebody's thoughts or read their minds and things like that? And the studies all came down to a conclusion that they really couldn't prove it, only because there's no way to basically pick up a transmitter of a human mind. We can't get on the frequency of that onto any kind of electronic devices. I guess it all came down to that. So they threw it as a possibility, only because it's a mystery that we can't figure out. That there's a possibility, but it was really not a proven thing that we could do. So when it's described as an ability, we can't call it an ESP as that is. A lot of times we use the cues, we use facial expressions to get the cues as to what's going on in somebody's mind. But there is a level of empathy that even without seeing a person, you could be in a vicinity, like a 12-foot radius of somebody, and pick up on somebody's emotion and actually understand and feel their emotion from a distance without actually looking at their face or looking at or hearing them sob or hearing their emotional state at the time. So my question is our empathy a level of ESP? Add your comments down there. Maybe come up with some of your ideas, maybe, and maybe we can talk about them and on the chat. But I'm going to just go into one thing. I know that the mind, the human mind, the brain, is basically one giant. We have neurons, and we have neurons that go in between brain cells, and there's actually electrical currents that are going through there. So it is an electrical charge that the impulses are going through. So it is an actual brain that has electricity in it. So after saying that, I mean, we have dimensions in our brain. I mean, we have thought processes, and there's patterns of brain cells that kind of have patterns to retain memory, retain ideas, thoughts. So these patterns are constantly going